Welcome to creating your perfectly imperfect holiday. The holidays are magical, right? But if you're like most of us, you're probably already feeling that familiar knot in your stomach, thinking about everything you need to get done. The perfect decorations, the flawless dinner, the thoughtful gifts wrapped in a coordinating paper. Here's the truth. You don't need to be Martha Stewart to have a beautiful holiday. In fact, chasing that level of perfection might be exactly what's stealing your joy. Today, I want to talk about how to ditch your perfectionism so you can enjoy your holidays, not just survive them. We'll explore where holiday stress really comes from, why our childhood memories trick us into impossible standards, and most importantly, practical steps you can take right now to simplify everything without sacrificing what actually matters. If we haven't met, I'm Mary, and with my co creator Adrian, we've spent the last 5+ years building an online community where women come together to share tips on home organization, productivity, and life hacks. Here, you'll find warm conversations and practical solutions to help make your life a little easier and a lot more enjoyable. After helping hundreds of women, we are excited to expand to YouTube to share our content with a wider audience. So grab a cup of whatever you love, settle in, and let's start creating our best lives together, one week at a time. As always, please help us in our journey by hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons. Now let's talk about the high cost of holiday perfectionism. Let me paint you a picture. Growing up, my mom would put out a bowl of Chex Party Mix and some chocolate kisses, open a carton of eggnog, and my dad would set up the bar and make whiskey sours. Boom! Holiday party. It was that simple. But somewhere along the lines, we got convinced that wasn't enough. Now we're cooking elaborate dishes from Pinterest, crafting our own signature cocktails, weaving our own wrapping paper, and trimming trees with expensive hand-blown ornaments. Now, don't get me wrong. I love creativity and I love tradition. But here's the lesson I've learned. Perfection is for people who have staff. And most of us don't have staff. I don't have staff. Do you have staff? When we look back on our childhood holidays, we remember them as perfect. But they weren't. They were simpler. And that simplicity is exactly what we're longing for when the holidays feel overwhelming. In fact, there's a whole trend around returning to simpler holidays. The TV is full of advertisements of home movies from the 70s illustrating a happier and simpler time. Now, your stress usually comes from two main sources: internal pressure and external pressure. Once you understand the source or sources, you can take back control. Internal pressure is the voice in your head telling you the cookies must be homemade, the table must look like a magazine spread, and everyone must have the most thoughtful gift ever. That pressure comes from comparing your real life to images that are staged, styled, edited, and cropped. Now, external pressure is everything pushed onto us by others. Maybe it's families expecting you to host because you always have hosted, friends assuming you'll make your famous dessert, or society sending the subtle message that if you're not doing all those things, you're failing. When we buy into either type of pressure, we end up trying to do everything, be everywhere, and make everything perfect. And instead of enjoying the season, we end up stressed, exhausted, and resentful. I have a friend who used to spend days shopping, prepping, and cooking for the holiday meals. By the time everyone sat down, she was too tired to enjoy it. I suggested she try a local restaurant that prepared a full holiday meal. She was very hesitant at first, thinking it has to be homemade to be special. But she tried it, loved it, and now orders every year. She finally gets to be present with her family instead of stuck in the kitchen. That's the real cost of perfectionism, missing out on connection, gratitude, family, and joy. Now, the strategy one we're going to talk about is prioritize presence over presentation. The first step is shifting your focus from how everything looks to how everything feels. The two are not the same. Families and friends care about being with you, not whether the napkins match the tablecloth or the cookies came from a bakery. Start by asking what truly matters to your loved ones. Have honest conversations. I once thought it would be practical to skip stuffing stockings as we all grew older. My daughter was so upset. I had no idea that this was going to upset her the way it was. It really mattered to her that she had a stocking to look forward to. It mattered much more than I realized. So we are not making that mistake again. My daughter may care about her stocking, but my family doesn't care if we have a big holiday meal. 3 years ago, we celebrated with pizza and a dessert buffet, all purchased at Aldi's. Now, once you know what matters, let go of the rest without guilt. This is where strategic simplification comes in. Use gift bags instead of spending hours wrapping presents. Send bakery cookies to events. Order part or all of your holiday meal instead of making it. Or ask people to bring dishes or have a potluck. Also, think outside of the holiday dates calendar. Another friend of mine started an after Christmas open house instead of cramming everything into the week of Christmas. It's in the late afternoon, so it's too late for lunch and too early for dinner. Therefore, there are no expectations of a meal, only nibbles and drinks. People can drop in on their own schedule and leave when they're ready. There's no additional seating, so people mingle and meet and greet and have fun, and it keeps the holiday cheer going without the stress. Another friend sends New Year's cards instead of Christmas cards. Less stress, but still just as thoughtful. Now, this one is a game changer. Learn to pause before answering. Remember, you're never required to give an immediate answer to holiday requests, or any requests for that matter. Say something like, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you." This gives yourself that space. It lets you decide if you truly want to do it and if you have the energy to do it. Saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. Say yes to things that are opportunities, not obligations. Focus on presence over presentation. Your family will remember how you made them feel, not whether everything looked perfect. They'll remember laughter, love, and conversation and connection, not the smoothness of the gravy or the symmetry of the centerpiece. Instead of asking yourself, "How can I make this perfect?" try, "How can I make this meaningful?" Instead of, "What will people think?" ask, "What helps us connect?" Instead of, "How do I do everything?" ask, "What actually needs to be done?" Now, strategy 2 is the power of good enough and delegation. You don't have to do everything yourself, and in fact, you shouldn't. Letting others contribute creates connection and lightens your load. People like to be part of the activity. Give your family and friends tasks. A different generation can handle the music and decorations. Partners can make drinks or appetizers. Let go of controlling how things get done. Maybe the decorations aren't perfect. Maybe the appetizers aren't arranged the way you would have done it, but that's okay. It means everyone can leave their mark, and the holiday feels more inclusive. Welcome to your perfectly imperfect holiday. You have more control over stress than you think. Your childhood holidays weren't perfect, they were filled with presence and simplicity. You can create that again by letting go of perfectionism and focusing on what actually matters. Ditch the Pinterest pressure, embrace good enough, delegate, and say no when you want, and give yourself permission to enjoy your own celebration. If you want more tips on living intentionally, creating simpler systems, and enjoying meaningful connections, please subscribe and join our monthly live sessions where we dive even deeper into creating your best life, one week at a time. Until next time, cheers.